Barack Obama's 2025 life, a tour of his DC home, Martha's Vineyard estate, and presidential lifestyle. This isn't just a story about politics. It's the tale of a man who walked the streets of Chicago as a humble community organizer and ended up living the modern American dream with wealth, power, and global recognition to his name. Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States, now commands an estimated net worth of $70 million as of 2025. But how did he get there? Because here's the thing, it wasn't handed to him. Sure, the presidential salary of $400,000 a year is nothing to scoff at, but that was just the beginning. After leaving the White House, Obama turned his name into a brand, his story into bestsellers, and his presence into sold-out speaking events. Add to that a string of multi-million-dollar homes, and you've got a legacy that reaches far beyond politics. But to truly understand Obama's rise, we have to go back. Way back to August 4th, 1961, in Honolulu, Hawaii. Born far from the mainland U.S., Barack Hussein Obama II would one day become the first and only American president born outside the 48 contiguous states. His life was destined to be anything but ordinary. His beginnings were woven from a rich tapestry of cultures and continents. His mother, Ann Dunham, a white woman from Kansas with European roots, English, Irish, German, and more, was intelligent, curious, and forward-thinking. In 1960, during a Russian class at the University of Hawaii, she met Barack Obama Sr., a charismatic student from Kenya. He was already married back home, but love doesn't always follow rules. The two wed in 1961, and 6 months later, baby Barack arrived, a living symbol of two very different worlds united in one child. But the fairy tale didn't last. They divorced in 1964. Obama Sr. returned to Kenya, remarried, and became a distant figure in Barack's life. He only saw his father once after that, a single visit in 1971, when he was 9. It would be their first and last reunion. A decade later, in 1982, Obama Sr. was killed in a car crash in Nairobi. That loss left a hole, but also a spark. It would fuel Obama's lifelong journey to understand where he came from and who he was meant to become. Back in 1965, Ann married again, this time to Lolo Sotoro, an Indonesian graduate student. When Lolo's visa ran out, the family packed up and moved to Jakarta. For 4 formative years, young Barack adapted to a new culture, language, and way of life. By age 10, though, he was back in Hawaii, this time with his grandparents. He enrolled at Punahou School, a top-tier private academy that would open doors for years to come. His mother and stepfather remained in Indonesia a while longer before Ann ultimately returned to Hawaii. She later lost her battle with cancer in 1995. After graduating in 1979, Obama headed to Occidental College in Los Angeles on a full scholarship, another leap forward in a journey that was still unfolding. And that's just the beginning. Stay with us, because the next chapters in Barack Obama's story include Ivy League dreams, political breakthroughs, a run for the White House, and a transformation into a global icon, not just of leadership, but of success in every sense of the word. Barack Obama wasn't just chasing a paycheck, he was searching for purpose. 2 years into college, he packed his bags and transferred to Columbia University in the heart of New York City. There, he studied political science with a focus on international relations, graduating in 1983. He took a job right after as a financial researcher at Business International Corporation, a respectable gig, but one that left his soul restless. The corporate world wasn't where his heart lived, not even close. By 1985, Obama made a bold pivot. He left the boardrooms behind and headed to Chicago, drawn to the real work of making change happen on the ground. He became the director of the Developing Communities Project, a small but mighty faith-based nonprofit focused on empowering struggling neighborhoods. Here, he rolled up his sleeves, walked the streets, listened, learned, and fought for people too often overlooked. That experience didn't just shape his values, it planted the seeds of his political future. Then in 1988, Obama hit pause. He took a journey across the globe, including a deeply personal trip to Kenya, where he met relatives from his late father's side for the first time. That visit brought his identity into sharper focus. It wasn't just about where he was going, but where he came from. Later that same year, he stepped into one of the most elite classrooms in America, Harvard Law School. And he didn't just attend, he made history, becoming the first African-American president of the Harvard Law Review. That distinction sent ripples through the national media. Suddenly, people were watching closely. Still, Obama kept one foot in the real world. During summer breaks, he went right back to Chicago to continue his community organizing work. When he graduated in 1991, with powerful law firms throwing six-figure offers his way, he turned them down. Instead, he returned to Chicago and joined a small civil rights law firm, focused on justice over profit. By 1992, Obama added another title to his resume: constitutional law professor at the University of Chicago, a role he held for over a decade. He wasn't just preaching change, he was teaching it. Then came the next step. In 1997, Obama officially entered the political arena, winning a seat in the Illinois State Senate. There, he pushed for reforms in healthcare, education, and ethics, and quickly earned a reputation as someone who could bring both sides to the table. But make no mistake, Obama wasn't in it just to play local politics. He was thinking bigger, much bigger. And in 2004, the nation took notice. That year, Obama launched a campaign for the U.S. Senate, and at the Democratic National Convention, he was handed a microphone and a primetime speaking slot. What came next was unforgettable, a keynote address that electrified the room and introduced the nation to a new kind of leader: calm, charismatic, hopeful. In a single night, he went from rising star to household name. Obama won his Senate race in a landslide. By January 2005, he was sworn in as the junior senator from Illinois, tackling weighty issues like foreign policy, veterans affairs, and government transparency. His influence grew fast, and so did the whispers. Could he go even further? In February 2007, the whispers turned into headlines. Obama announced his candidacy for President of the United States. Many doubted him. He was still new, young, and standing against a political titan, Hillary Clinton. But something was different this time. His campaign didn't feel like politics as usual. It felt like a movement, built on hope, unity, and real change, powered by millions of small-dollar donations and grassroots volunteers. Obama's message connected across generations and backgrounds. After an intense, high-stakes primary battle, he secured the Democratic nomination in 2008. His choice of running mate, veteran Senator Joe Biden, balanced the ticket. Together, they went up against Republican nominee John McCain, a respected war hero and seasoned leader. But Obama wasn't just running a campaign, he was inspiring a nation. And the best was yet to come. The night of November 4th, 2008, felt like a seismic shift in American history. Millions watched, cheered, cried because that night, Barack Obama became the first African-American president of the United States. It was more than an election win. It was a cultural turning point, a symbol of what was possible. And on January 20th, 2009, he was sworn in as the 44th president, stepping into history with the world watching. His rise from walking the streets of Chicago as a community organizer to leading the free world is the kind of real-life story that feels straight out of a movie. Over 2 terms in the Oval Office, Obama faced enormous challenges and chased bold goals, leaving behind a legacy that still shapes the nation. But his influence didn't stop when he stepped off the political stage. Since leaving office, Obama hasn't just remained relevant, he's become a global icon, a best-selling author, a sought-after speaker, and a cultural figure with serious influence. And with that influence has come fortune. Today, his wealth isn't just seen in numbers, it's seen in the way he lives. Let's take a peek behind the curtain into Barack Obama's life after the White House, starting with one of his most stunning purchases, an oceanfront mansion in Martha's Vineyard. After 8 pressure-packed years in the White House, Barack and Michelle were ready for a slower pace, and in 2019, they found just the place. They dropped $11.7 million on a jaw-dropping estate that blends coastal charm with presidential-level luxury. Sitting on nearly 30 private acres, this home isn't just a getaway, it's a full-on sanctuary. Nestled along the edge of Edgartown Great Pond, the property serves up sweeping ocean views, peace and privacy, exactly what you'd want after years under the global spotlight. At nearly 7,000 square feet, this retreat has room for everyone. 7 bedrooms, 8.5 bathrooms, and enough space to host not just family, but fellow world leaders, Hollywood royalty, or just some old friends from the campaign trail. Step inside and you're hit with a vibe that's both chic and serene. White walls, open spaces, natural light pouring in from every direction. It's modern but not cold, luxurious without trying too hard. The grand entryway, complete with soaring ceilings and a graceful staircase, makes a quiet, confident statement. This is a home built for reflection, not just reception. But the real showstopper? The view. A massive balcony stretches out toward the water, perfect for watching the sunrise with a cup of coffee or winding down with a glass of wine as the sun melts into the horizon. There's no need for noise here. The sound of the ocean is the soundtrack. And while the front of the estate is all elegance, the backyard is where the magic happens. A lush, rolling lawn leads straight to the shoreline, creating the ultimate space for weekend barbecues, quiet morning strolls, or epic family gatherings. It's Martha's Vineyard, dialed up to presidential levels. Inside, it's equal parts cozy and cool. Multiple stone fireplaces make chilly nights feel like a warm embrace. And while Obama famously gave up smoking, it's easy to imagine him sinking into a chair by the fire, maybe with a vintage cigar, deep in thought or just watching a game. For fun? Oh, they've got that too. There's a sleek pool table for game nights and an outdoor swimming pool just steps from the kitchen. Because what's better than a swim and a snack in your own backyard oasis? And speaking of the kitchen, well, let's just say it's worthy of a former First Lady who set new standards in taste and style. Step into the Obama's Martha's Vineyard kitchen, and you're met with clean, crisp, all-white design, open concept living, and appliances so high-end they'd make a professional chef swoon. It's a space built for everything from quiet family breakfasts to elegant dinner parties that stretch into the night. Functional, fashionable, and totally Obama. But when it came to the primary suite, the power couple took a different path. No gold trim or glitzy chandeliers here, just a peaceful, grounded retreat. Calm tones, cozy corners, and a vibe that says home, not showroom. It's a subtle reminder. No matter how big their legacy, the Obamas never lost touch with what really matters. Back to where it all began, the Kenwood house. Long before the White House, the world stage, or those million-dollar estates, Barack and Michelle were just a rising couple in love, juggling careers, raising daughters, and building a life together on Chicago's South Side. In August 2000, they bought a charming, sophisticated home in Kenwood, a neighborhood steeped in history and culture. Price tag, $1.6 million. Value, priceless. At the time, Barack was an ambitious state senator. Michelle was thriving in her own career, and their daughters, Malia and Sasha, were still young. This home became their anchor, a safe space in the chaos of politics and parenting. The house itself tells a story the moment you see it. Warm hardwood floors, rich woodwork, and timeless architectural touches give it soul. Step through the front door and you're welcomed by custom-built bookcases, arched doorways, and cozy alcoves that feel more like a beloved novel than a building. The formal living room, centered around a gas fireplace, practically begs for a quiet evening of reading or maybe speech prepping by the glow of the flames. But don't let the elegance fool you. The home also leans into comfort. A second living room brings a more relaxed vibe, perfect for family movie nights or spontaneous dance parties with the kids. And the dining room? Picture this. A stunning arched glass window frames a blooming tree outside, bringing the beauty of nature right to your plate. You can almost hear the laughter of family dinners, see early campaign strategy chats, or imagine future White House dreams taking shape at that very table. In the kitchen, it's all about functionality meets flair. A Viking stove, central island, and plenty of space to gather. Make it a dream for entertainers or for Michelle to whip up one of her signature healthy meals while chatting with Barack over breakfast. Upstairs, things stay classy and comfortable. 3 spacious bedrooms, 2 chic bathrooms, and even a special detail that adds character, rare Imperial Garden wallpaper from the 1980s by designer Charles Barone, giving the space a unique vintage charm. A small office nook, bathed in sunlight and overlooking the backyard, offers the kind of quiet corner writers crave. It's easy to picture Barack there, pen in hand, writing notes that would eventually shape history, or maybe drafting the early pages of what would become Dreams from My Father. And speaking of the backyard, it's a slice of paradise in the city. A sparkling pool, inviting spa, and a brick patio shaded by a century-old magnolia tree create a picture-perfect setting for everything from summer BBQs to deep family talks about life, legacy, and the road ahead. Even the oversized garage goes beyond the basics. Spacious enough to be transformed into a home gym, studio, or creative space, it's the kind of bonus area that a couple like the Obamas, always juggling work, wellness, and idea, could truly make their own. This Kenwood house wasn't just their first big investment, it was the foundation of their family, their future, and their story. A place full of character, charm, and quiet confidence, just like the Obamas themselves, while their journey would eventually take them to the nation's highest office and global fame. This home was their beginning. And if you thought Barack's taste stopped at architecture, think again. The man behind historic legislation and viral speeches also has a serious eye for stylish cars. But that's a whole other story. From old-school American muscle to world-class supercars, Barack Obama's car collection says a lot about the man behind the wheel. Just like his public persona, cool, collected, and full of depth, his garage tells a story that blends legacy, performance, and a touch of surprise. Let's take a ride through some of his most iconic vehicles, and trust us, there's something for everyone. While in the White House, Obama's daily ride wasn't your average sedan. He rolled in the Beast, the legendary, heavily armored presidential limousine. More tank than car, this custom Cadillac was designed with one job: keep the commander-in-chief alive. Think bulletproof glass, bomb-resistant armor, night vision cameras, and reinforced steel. And just in case things really go sideways, it carries a supply of the president's blood type. This beast wasn't about flash, it was about function. And while it may not win any drag races, it's easily the most exclusive ride he's ever commanded. Now let's switch gears literally. Barack Obama is rumored to own a 2011 Bugatti Veyron, one of the fastest, most powerful supercars on Earth. With a top speed north of 250 miles per hour, this machine screams adrenaline. For a man known for his calm presence, this car is a wild card. But it also shows another side of Obama: a deep appreciation for top-tier engineering and cutting-edge design. It's smooth, fast, and built for the few who can handle it. Of course, Barack hasn't forgotten where he came from or what he stands for. Enter the 2019 Chevy Volt, a plug-in hybrid that proves performance and sustainability can go hand in hand. With a 53-mile electric range before the gas engine kicks in, this is a smart, eco-conscious ride that fits right into Obama's climate-conscious values. He's showing that even car lovers can stay committed to a cleaner future. Then there's the Bugatti Type 43, a head-turner from the 1920s that blends speed with old-world class. This vintage beauty features a 2.3-liter supercharged engine that was way ahead of its time, capable of hitting 100 miles per hour, back when that was unheard of. Owning something like this isn't just about driving, it's about preserving history. This car is all style, all legacy, and a nod to Obama's appreciation for timeless design. You can't call yourself a car guy in the US without an American classic. Obama's got one, a Chevy Corvette C2, the muscle car legend made between 1963 and 1967. It's loud, fast, and dripping with that signature vintage swagger. With a rumbling V8 engine and iconic body lines, this Corvette isn't just a car, it's a love letter to American automotive muscle. Need something sleek for everyday life? Obama's also been seen with a Range Rover Vogue, a high-end SUV that blends elegance with rugged practicality. Whether it's a weekend getaway or a formal event, the Vogue does it all. With its plush interior and high-tech features, it's no surprise this model is a favorite among world leaders, celebrities, and of course, former presidents. Barack Obama's car collection is more than just metal and horsepower. It's a reflection of who he is, someone who values progress, respects tradition, and isn't afraid to enjoy the ride. He's got cars that go fast, cars that go green, and cars that tell stories, each one adding a layer to his legacy. So here's the question. If you could take just one of Obama's cars out for a weekend cruise, which one would you pick? The Veyron for pure thrill? The Volt for planet-friendly pride? Or maybe the vintage Corvette for classic cool? Drop your pick in the comments, we're all ears. When most people hear the name Barack Obama, they think president, Nobel Peace Prize winner, global icon. But behind the speeches, the suits, and the spotlight lies a powerful personal story, a journey shaped by family, heartbreak, love, and legacy. Let's take a closer look at the life of the man behind the podium. Spoiler, it's more relatable and more remarkable than you might think. Obama's family is as diverse as the country he once led. He once joked that his relatives range from Bernie Mac to Margaret Thatcher, and honestly, that's not too far off. He grew up with his half-sister Maya Sotoro Ng and has 7 half-siblings from his father's side back in Kenya. His grandmother, Madeline Dunham, helped raise him in Hawaii and heartbreakingly passed away just 2 days before he won the 2008 election. That bittersweet victory hit hard. And get this, Barack's family tree? It's wild. He's got roots in Ireland, Native American ancestry. Embrace yourself, he's distantly related to both Jefferson Davis, the President of the Confederacy, and Presidents George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. Talk about a tangled American legacy. Way before the world knew him as half of America's favorite power couple, Barack was in a serious relationship with Sheila Miyoshi Yeager, an anthropologist he dated in the 80s. He even proposed twice, but was turned down both times. That chapter stayed private until long after he left office. But it's a reminder that even future presidents go through heartbreak. In 1989, Barack met Michelle Robinson at a Chicago law firm. She was his mentor and totally not interested at first, but he won her over with time and probably some charm. By 1992, they were married and building a life that would one day move into the White House. Their journey had its challenges. Michelle suffered a miscarriage, and they turned to IVF to grow their family. They welcomed Malia in 1998 and Sasha in 2001. The girls went from top schools in Chicago to Sidwell Friends School, the elite DC school that's educated presidential children for generations. And we can't forget their 2 furry family members, Bo and Sonny, their lovable Portuguese water dogs. Bo, a gift from Senator Ted Kennedy, became America's favorite pup, and Sonny joined in 2013. Bo passed away in 2021, but left behind a trail of wagging tails and warm memories. Obama is all in when it comes to sports. He's a die-hard Chicago White Sox fan. He even threw the first pitch at the 2005 ALCS and again at the 2009 MLB All-Star Game, proudly repping his Sox jacket. He also cheers for the Chicago Bears, but has a soft spot for the Pittsburgh Steelers, his childhood team. Fun fact, the Steelers won the Super Bowl just 12 days after he became president in 2009. Coincidence? Maybe. Perfect timing? Absolutely. But basketball is where his heart truly lies. He played varsity in high school and kept the game alive during his presidency with regular pickup games, sometimes even with NBA stars. And yep, like a few other presidents, he's left-handed. Obama wasn't raised in a religious home. His mom, Ann Dunham, was deeply spiritual but not into organized religion. His dad was an atheist, and his stepfather believed religion was optional. So Obama's spiritual journey started later in life. It was during his time as a community organizer in Chicago, working closely with African-American churches, that he began to find meaning in faith. In his book, The Audacity of Hope, he wrote that he was drawn to Christianity for its message of redemption, compassion, and service. As he put it, "I'm a Christian by choice. The precepts of Jesus Christ spoke to me, being my brothers and sisters' keeper, treating others as they would treat me." Barack Obama's story isn't just one of politics, it's a story of resilience, identity, faith, love, and purpose. From a mixed-race kid raised in Hawaii to the first Black president of the United States, Every chapter in his life shows us that legacy is about more than headlines. It's about how you live when no one's watching. Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you loved this deeper dive into Barack Obama's personal journey, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more inspiring stories of celebrity lives, luxury, and legacy.